So, it's around 2004, and I am a pimple-faced little schmuck from the North Shore of Sydney. We are talking only a face a mother could love, but a dream to make it big in real estate. Armed with none of the essentials one needs to succeed in this industry, I'm talking no custom-made suit, no shirt with my initials on, not even a black BMW to my name, I decided to defy the odds and kick off a career in residential sales. Like most of us on day one, I was given a desk and a telephone and wished good luck with my new job. As I sat there pondering how I would make my mark on this industry and what I would do to compete with all the other agents fighting for the same listings, I did what I'm guessing most of us did when we first started and called everyone I knew to tell them that I was now a real estate agent. The first opportunity I got was from a friend from school whose parents were moving from the North Shore to the eastern suburbs and were looking for a home with a tennis court. So, RP Data became my best friend. These guys were the pre-Google Earth, aka Stone Age era days, and I made it my business to find and approach every single home from Vaucluse to Darling Point with a tennis court. One day, I was driving through Vaucluse with my boss at the time, and we were passing one of the houses I had pinpointed on my potential tennis court list. I suggested to my boss we pull over and approach the vendor, to which he abruptly responded, "No point in wasting our time. We don't have a hope in hell." I was young and amateur, but nonetheless surprised, as quite frankly, I didn't really see the harm in trying. To my right was my boss, and to my left was the front door of this house. And what I can tell you now, but I didn't know then, was that to my right I was staring failure dead in the eyes. And to my left, in all its glory, success. I was going to door knock that house. So I decided, even though alone, I would open the car door, walk to the front gate, and I felt armed and dangerous with every cheesy real estate line I had ever been taught. Knock, knock, good afternoon, sir. Do I have the perfect buyer for your house? Knock, knock, good morning, ma'am. I've driven past your house 1,000 times and always dreamt to look inside. Hoping one of these miracle lines would convince the owner to sell. As the door opened and a smiling man looked back at me, I completely froze. All I could force myself to do was put out my hand and say, "Hi, my name is Simon Cohen." Long story short, the vendor opened up to say he and his wife were getting divorced and it could be a good opportunity to sell. Guys, I ran back to that car like Usain Bolt in the Olympics running for gold to tell my boss I had a potential seller and to get those buyers on the line. Unfortunately, the property was not for my friends, but I did end up listing and selling the home for $10 million. I had made my first sale, and that electricity that pumps through your body when you close was now in my blood. I learned a very important lesson back then. The lesson between those who succeed and those who fail. Those who succeed ask the question, knowing that the worst that can happen is they'll get a no. And if they do, they'll be no worse off than they were the day before. Those who fail, quite simply, give up without even trying. And what's even more interesting is how easily that $10 million deal turned into $36 million worth of deals. From that seller needing to buy and those buyers needing to sell, it turned into, in our language, a GCI of around $600,000. And to be honest, all I did that day was look left instead of right, open a car door, walk to a front door, ring a bell, and introduce myself. All of this just from taking action, even though I was told it was pointless. So around 5 years passes, and I decide to move to the USA to see what's happening in the most sophisticated real estate market in the world. And what I find is the rise and domination of the buyer's agent model. Around 80% of people were using buyer's agents at the time. And when I really thought about it, it made so much sense. I wouldn't go to court and represent myself if the opposing side had a professional lawyer representing them. I didn't see the Australian property market any different at the time. I knew buyer's agents would work here. So I launched Cohen Handler, a business I was called crazy for starting, and an industry no one had any clue about. Nonetheless, I decided to hustle like crazy. I would pick up the phone to anyone who would answer. Hello, do you want to buy a house? Okay, goodbye. Hello, do you want to buy a house? Okay, goodbye. I'd call the guy at Civic Video. Hello, do you want to buy a house? Okay, goodbye. Slowly, but surely, we began to get clients. We brought on buyer's agents to join our team, and we focused purely on delivering an incredible outcome for our customer. And from that, and that alone, word began to spread. Guys, if you want to dominate in real estate in the future, you can't just repeat what's worked in the past. You must change, you must evolve, and you must learn to ride emerging trends. As the world's most famous ice hockey player, Wayne Gretzky, said, when asked what made him the greatest player in ice hockey history, most players go to where the puck is. I go to where the puck will be. Howard Schultz did not become the richest man in the history of cafes by doing what was already working before. He went to Italy and saw that cafes were done totally different to how they were in the US. They were a meeting place, not just a place to get caffeine. Schultz brought the Italian model back to the US, and today there are over 27,000 Starbucks stores in the world. Bill Gates did not become the richest man in the world for the last 20 years by doing what was already working in computers. He read a magazine article that said the future of computing was software, not hardware, and the rest is history. Phil Knight, the founder of Nike, saw that the future of runners was changing. His idea was so radical, he started making the soles of his shoes from his home kitchen waffle maker. Today, Big Phil is worth over $31 billion US. So if you want to succeed, and in our own humble way, Cohen Handler has become the biggest buyer's agency in this country because we had the courage to look in different places to everybody else in the real estate industry. And my third observation is this. Whether you want to be a buyer's agent or a real estate agent or a mortgage broker, this has to become a lifestyle for you. It cannot just be a job. Being in this industry is not for anyone who wants to work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. Some of my greatest deals happen on a Friday night or Sunday afternoon or even when I'm overseas. I was once doing a deal with the great Bill Maloof. It was for a $20 million waterfront. It was at the end of June, which we all know is holiday time. I had that Instagram just bought ready to upload as I was stepping on the plane. Unfortunately, the Insta gods were not on my side, and I ended up in Las Vegas, Bill on a boat in Europe. It was midnight one night for me, and I was walking into the Tris nightclub in the Wynn Hotel. Bill, lying on a boat, phone in one hand, glass of rosé in the other, I'm sure a pair of Speedos on soaking up that European sun. And together, at the most unorthodox time of the day, in the most unorthodox places in the world to be doing business, we close this deal. It's not about Monday to Friday. This needs to be a lifestyle that goes wherever you go. And if it does, it will pay off time and time again. And secondly, you can't be a dabbler. One of the reasons I got that very first mega sale was because I really did know every single home from Vaucluse to Darling Point with a tennis court. It's irrelevant I had skin so bad I looked like a pepperoni pizza from Domino's, or I looked so young that the sellers nicknamed me the pea plater. I knew my product, and because of that, they believed in me. And it's not just me. Let's look at this year's two mega agents, Alex Phillips, Gavin Rubinstein. My day starts at 7 a.m. with a call from Alex Phillips from his office. While everyone else is punching wheat beaks or doing a water aerobics class, Alex is getting in 2 extra hours of phone calls, 2 extra hours of talking to potential sellers, potential buyers, and getting potential deals done. One of my last calls of the day is from Gavin Rubinstein in his office. While everyone else is watching the Batchy in Paradise or punching a chicken pad CU, Gav is getting an extra 2 hours of calls. The secret to success, guys, it's right here. It's those who work harder are those who succeed. And if it's one thing I leave you with today, it's this. The service we offer is the only thing that will separate us from our competition. You can have a China desk so long it spans from here to Beijing and back, a signboard so big Neil Armstrong can see it from space. None of it will compare to the service you offer. So in summary, here's what I've learned. Number one, you could be so close to success, it's literally one door knock away. Keep persisting. Number two, it's vital to go where the future is, not where it has been. Go to where that puck will be. And number three, it's got to be a lifestyle, not just a job. I'm certainly no better than the next, nor am I any smarter. But it's by living by these simple, crucial lessons that even I was able to co-found a business that today has done over $3 billion worth of transactions, bought over 3,200 properties, and has been named one of the top 5 fastest growing companies in this country twice. And I can tell you now, according to any school teacher I ever had, if I can do it, anyone, and I quote, even a monkey can. There's a quote I've lived by my entire business career. It's a quote that struck me when I was 21, and I was told it's impossible to list and sell a home for $10 million. It's a quote I was reminded of when I wanted to start a buyer's agency in Australia, and I was called crazy. A quote by a man named Henry Ford, the inventor of the modern-day motor car and the founder of Ford Motor Industries. Henry says, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.